Okay, hello there everyone, it's Nintendo Gen 64 here, and welcome to my top 11 worst to best movies that I have seen in the year of 2011. Now unlike many regular people, I didn't actually go to the cinemas at all this year, so I can't actually include I can't include any new movies in this year. Yeah, well, my family's big, so it costs like $1 billion to go see a movie these days. So, and I'm too antisocial to go by myself, so this list only comprises of movies that I have seen on DVD or on television or illegally downloaded this year. So anyway, without any further ado, let's get started with this top 11 worst to best movies that I saw in 2011 list. Number 11. Okay, now the first movie on this list is the 2009 miniseries. Actually, it's more of a movie. That's why I'm putting it on this list. It was on my other list as well. It's Wuthering Heights. Now, the reason this is on this list is primarily because it is extremely dull and boring. And now I actually have read the book Wuthering Heights, and a lot of people seem to like this movie. I don't really know why, because I did read the book, and it doesn't seem like the characters come across the same way in the book as they do in the movie. Now, I don't think a lot of people really who've seen that movie or thing have actually read the book, but the characters are supposed to be more charismatic, more likable in the actual book, but in the movie, I've spoken about this before in my other list, but they are dull. They are extremely dull. They give a very sterile performance, I think, personally. They could have written the characters a bit better. I think it's also got a bit to do with the performances as well, but I didn't really find myself liking the characters you were supposed to like. Like, the whole point of this movie was banking on the fact that you like this character called Heathcliff, who is the main protagonist, sort of. He's more of an anti-hero than anything, really, but the whole movie is banking on the fact that you're going to have this guilty pleasure in liking this character, and that's the same thing with the main character, Catherine. You're supposed to see the movie from her perspective, and she, even though this guy's a complete asshole and a bad guy to people, like a bad kind of dark, ragged kind of person, she still likes him, but that doesn't really come through in this guy's performance. I think his name's Tom Hardy or something, but yeah, it doesn't really come through in his performance as Heathcliff. So yeah, I've spoken about this before. It's got really nice cinematography and everything, but I didn't really like it very much, primarily due to the characters and that kind of thing. So it's very well written. But there's plenty of other movies I've seen this year that are far worse than this movie. But I didn't really want to put them on the list primarily because that way I wouldn't be able to fit the movies that I really wanted to talk about on this list onto this list. So yeah, Wuthering Heights 2009, number 11 on my top 10 or top 11 worst to best movies that I've seen in 2011. Number 10. Okay, number 10, I've spoken about this too as well, it's Gattaca. Now, my friend, Ratchet5, Andrew Carroll, he actually likes this movie, and so do a lot of other people, but I find it boring. I find it very boring, and once again, here's that other word, sterile. It seems like it's a very sterile-feeling movie, and it didn't really come across as interesting to me, and it was just that story of prejudice, again and again. They didn't really have anything really much to tell, except for the fact that, oh, this guy, he's not genetically superior, so we can't allow him into our Space Academy thing. It was a situation scenario that has been played a billion times before in other movies, so I just didn't really find it that interesting seeing it from this different perspective. Maybe, I don't know, maybe if they incorporated some more in the movie, then I would have enjoyed it a bit more. But obviously, it's not that bad. It's got some good things in it too, like the tension of him being caught out by the I can't remember what they are, the detectives or something. The tension is there, but apart from that, I didn't really find too much I liked in this movie. It's not that bad. It's still good. You might enjoy it if you saw it, but it's not really my personal taste. So yeah, number 10 on my list is Gattaca. Number 9. Okay, number 9 is Total Recall. Now, I've spoken about this as well. I've spoken about everything on this list, but Total Recall, it's not it's not that good in my opinion. Like everyone says, oh, it's not really taking itself too seriously, but I still don't enjoy it that much. But it's somewhat entertaining due to the over the topness. But I still can't get behind the Arnold Schwarzenegger character because I just find him too. I'm not gonna say annoying, but very out of place. Like especially like, I've spoken about this before, but Arnold Schwarzenegger playing this character is the most out of place thing in this movie because the character is supposed to be intelligent, supposed to like be able. It's like a whole like Matrix thing. Like, am I awake or am I, in this dream kind of world thing? It's very very strange, and like the fact that Arnold Schwarzenegger is like the person who can figure out like whether or not his. Yeah, but I suppose he doesn't really figure it out either. But it's just like I don't know. I didn't enjoy it that much, but you might enjoy it too. So yeah, number 9 on my list is Total Recall, just purely because Arnold Schwarzenegger's an idiot. Okay. Number 8. Number 8. Now this is this is kind of strange. Like this isn't like I don't know if a lot of people have seen this. I saw it for the first time this year. I didn't even really know it existed until this year. It's the Doctor Who movie of 1996. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, it's not really a movie. They didn't actually show it in cinemas. They showed it on television. But it still runs the feature-length time of a movie, which goes for 90 minutes. So I'm still counting it on this list. Now, this is like the part of the list, I suppose, where it gets better. Like, the movies, like, I start, like, not hate as much. Like, I kind of get down to here, with which is, like, the mid-range kind of like, and then the ones down there are, like, the really likable ones. So, now, this movie's not too bad, but I really do like Paul McGann's performance in it. He does a brilliant job as the Doctor, even though he's only there for like, I don't know, maybe about an hour of screen time I think he gets, because the first like 20 or so minutes are the 7th Doctor, Sylvester McCoy, getting shot, and then the whole regeneration cycle. But he does a brilliant performance as the 8th Doctor. Now, there's a lot of like fangasm breaking, like how he says he's half human and that kind of thing. I can kind of like see where like fans go crazy and like, oh, we can't be half human, that kind of thing. But I don't really mind too much. But they never brought it up again, so I guess it's like it can just be passed off as a I don't know, maybe a dream sequence or something, even though it's awake. But whatever. The things I did really like about this, probably the Eric Roberts. He played the Master, the villain. He wasn't too. His performance wasn't very good. Same with just Chang or something, who seemed to be a very throwaway character, even though he was so. It seemed like he didn't like have much to do, even though he was a crucial part of the role, like part of the plot, which doesn't make any sense at all. Why I'm like meaning that, but it just seemed like he was a very sort of throwaway type of character. It didn't seem to too much really went on in that movie. Like for a 90-minute movie, you think you can have more things happening in it and not a lot happens. But it's not that bad. It's alright. It's not a god-awful movie. I mean, there's plenty of other worse movies out there. But, yeah, Doctor Who movie, number 8 on my list, I think. Yeah. Number 7. Okay, number 7. Now, a lot of people really like these movies, and I'm counting them as one whole thing, but, it's the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Now, my main problem with these movies is that I think they're trying to be long just for the sake of being long and epic. Now, I watched these at Ratchet 5's house, Andrew Carroll's house, with his friend Alex, and we did kind of have like we had to do like fit a lot of stuff in when I was down there, and we wanted to watch 3 of these movies, so maybe it was just the pressure of like trying to watch these movies as well as get other things done. But I found these movies incredibly drawn out. Like I think there's so many scenes of people walking and just spurting out exposition that is, we know all this is going to happen already. We know there's going to be a massive fight. Just get to the fight already. It just seems to be like a lot of unnecessary walking and talking. That's just what these. Now I think if these movies really wanted to, and if they actually tried to, they could actually fit these 3 9-hours. 3 3-hour movies, the 9 hours total, into 2 movies. I think that's really possible, but I don't know, maybe just, like I said, for the sake of just being drawn out and long, they just want to, be epic, and I'm gonna put 3 really long movies in a trilogy, yeah, so, yeah, it's pretty good. I still enjoy them. They're still pretty, pretty good, entertaining. But like there's other movies on this list I saw this year that were pretty really good. So I didn't hate this movie. I really do enjoy these three movies, but I found them very long and drawn out. But apart from that, they're great. So I do recommend them still if you're ready to commit yourself for a very very long viewing session. Yeah, go ahead. By all means, watch them. Number 6. Okay, number 6 is a movie that I actually have owned for a while, but I don't really get around to watching it until this year. It's The Terminal with Tom Hanks. Now this is a brilliant, actually, it's a really good movie. Even though a lot of people don't really like it. Now it's about this guy who Victor something or other, and he comes from like this other country where there's like a war going on, or something like that, some government overtaking, and he can't actually go back to his country, and he can't actually go into America, so he's like stuck in the terminal. I found it's a really interesting premise, even though I don't think that could ever actually happen, or it might be able to. I don't actually think it can, but whatever. I'm not an expert on immigration or anything. But so it's about him living and being very resourceful and that kind of thing, living in this terminal thing, which is a very very interesting premise because most people think of airplane terminals as you just go there, buy stuff at the duty free shop, hop on a plane, go away. Like I mean, when I was like when I went on a plane like a week ago or something, it wasn't. I couldn't picture anyone like living there, but yeah, it was a really nicely done movie. It's got like I said, Tom Hanks in it, who does a pretty good role as a guy who like he speaks some English, but not much English. So it was just good to see him like immerse himself through facial expressions and body language and that kind of thing, which is always good to see with an actor when they can like break out of the just like speaking English and that kind of thing. So yeah, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. Some movies on this list I liked better. That's why this is only number 6. But yeah, go watch The Terminal. It's really actually quite an entertaining movie. Number 5. Okay, number 5 is Dark City. Now this movie is was a lot of these movies on this list were actually given to me by Ratchet 5 earlier in the year, and I did watch them all the movies he sent me. This movie is very unique, actually. I don't know of any other movies that quite like it. Now, it's I can't remember the actor's name, Rufus someone or other. Now his character is in this he's in this city, right? And it's dark all the time. Like there's no daytime, and no one ever seems to care. That like there's no like light or anything. Like no one cares. And at a certain time of night, I think it's like midnight or something. All these like underground people they like start tuning and they like move like stuff around, and I'm not gonna spoil it for you because it's got a pretty twist kind of ending kind of thing, but it's just very very unique imagery and very unique cinematography, and it's a very unique movie. Like there's not too much like you can really say about it without giving away the plot, but if you can stand complete darkness for like a whole like 100 or 90 minutes runtime, then I think the uniqueness is really worth the somewhat darkness of the movie. Like so go check out Dark City. I'm probably not explaining myself very well here. It's unique and it's dark. Well, obviously Dark City, but go see it. I don't really want to spoil it because I think it does have a very clever kind of ending. So if you like cleverness, if you like uniqueness, then I thoroughly recommend Dark City. It's a very good movie. Number 4. Okay, number 4 is the 2009 Star Trek. Now, before actually watching 2009 Star Trek, I hadn't actually seen the original. I think I've seen a few episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation, but I hadn't actually seen the original ones, except for that, hilarious fight between Captain Kirk and that monster thing. Everyone knows that video, but so going into this, I didn't really know too much to expect, but I really enjoyed it. I know the whole thing was to try and bring new audiences to Star Trek, and being like an uneducated person on Star Trek, I actually enjoyed it. It's a pretty fast-paced kind of entertaining action sci-fi adventure. Even though I've seen a couple of reviews on it, and I know it's like not too true to the original. Like the characters aren't exactly the same, but I don't know. I still enjoyed it. I think I don't know the actor's name, but the guy who plays Spock, young Spock, I think he does a very good job of trying to emulate trying to emulate the original Leonard Nimoy Spock. I think he did quite well with that, and I think like a lot of people have actually said the interaction between young Kirk and young Spock is like it's very similar and very true to the original. So yeah, I enjoyed this movie. I think it's a pretty solid movie. There's not too many plot holes really, apart from the fact that Nero goes through the time thing and comes out, and then Spock, who goes in like 5 seconds later, comes out 25 years after him, which doesn't really make too much sense. But there you go. It's space, so who gives a crap? Also, the fact that somehow from that ice planet, Spock can see his planet, which is far, far away, exploding, which doesn't make much sense either. But oh well, who cares? You can throw some caution to the wind with your sensibility when watching it. It's still pretty good, apart from like a few plot holes here and there. So yeah, Star Trek 2009, yeah, it's pretty good. Number 3. Okay, number 3 is 12 Monkeys. Now, this is by Terry Gilliam, who was in the Monty Python crew, and he also directed Brazil, which is a very unique, very strange cinematography, very strange movie. But I still enjoy Brazil, even though that would be on this list, but I saw it a couple of years ago, so yeah. But 12 Monkeys is a very, very structurally sound time travel movie, even though it is a bit confusing, but I still enjoyed it a lot. It's got Bruce Willis in there, who does a very good performance. Same with Brad Pitt, who probably turns in one of the best performances of his career as Jeffrey so-and-so. There are a few coincidences that really like help move along the plot. They're very, coincidental kind of storytelling kind of thing. But if you can go with that, then I think there's no reason why you shouldn't like this movie. The time travel aspect, I think, does help it a lot. Like, if you didn't have the time travel aspect, it probably wouldn't work this in the same way. But I think it's you should definitely check this out. It's got a very surprise twist ending, very kind of clever ending. Some would say that it's kind of not very I don't know. It's not a very reassuring ending, not a very I don't know, good ending, but I think it's pretty good. It's kind of, it leaves you to a bit of well, I'm not going to spoil it for you. So you check out 12 Monkeys for yourself. The ending is I don't know if you like the ending. I've personally found it alright, but oh well. There you go. That's enough talking about 12 Monkeys and its ending. Let's move on to number 2 on my list. Number 2. Okay, number 2 is Adaptation, featuring Nicolas Cage. Now, this movie, I really actually enjoy this movie. It gives you a kind of insight into how someone writes a screenplay and how that kind of thing. But it's very interesting. It's about this like very self-conscious guy who reads a book and decides he's going to write a movie on it. But the only problem is it's a book about a flower. Now his whole purpose of this movie is like he's trying to stay true to the book and write this whole thing, and he's not going to have any action in it, any like kind of car chase and that kind of thing, because he thinks that, well, he's got a brother who actually writes a screenplay who's inspired by him. His brother's inspired by him to write a screenplay, and he's got full of like action and like adventure and that kind of thing. And the brother, Nicolas Cage, is himself. He plays himself in his twin brother. He says to his brother that it's not very good, it's not very original and that kind of thing. But like the film producers really, really enjoy it, and I think they want to make a movie out of it or something like that. So Nicolas Cage is like, well, I'm going to write this movie, this screenplay about this flower, and I'm not going to have any of that in it. But the problem is, he actually ends up having that in it, and it's really interesting how that comes about. So I'm not going to say too much more, because saying why certain movies are good kind of spoils it. I don't really want to be a spoiler, especially on New Year's Eve of all things. So go check out Adaptation. It's really, really good. I enjoy it. There's a few comedic moments and everything, and Nicolas Cage does a really, really good performance as two characters, two pretty much polar opposite characters, if you will, although they're identical twins. So yeah, go check out Adaptation. Not a lot of people have heard of it. I certainly hadn't heard of it until this year, but I'm glad I have. So yes, Adaptation number 2 on my list. Number 1. Okay, so number 1. Now this is another sort of time travel-esque movie. It's Memento. Now, Memento is this brilliantly crafted story about a guy who has short-term memory loss kind of thing. So he forgets things all the time. Like every day, he like wakes up and has forgotten everything that happened the past day. Now the movie actually starts right at the end of the movie, where you see him killing a person, but you have no idea why he does this. So the whole movie is in reverse, showing you what leads up to the previous scene. So for instance, the scene of him killing the guy is followed up next with the scene of him waking up, going down, going to the guy in the hotel, meeting the guy, and then goes to the end where he kills him. So it's kind of like a movie backwards. You see the result, but you don't know why this has happened, and it's really interesting to find out about why this is happening. It's a really actually very good way to draw in a crowd and like drawing people to watch it, because it's not like your conventional movie telling kind of storytelling kind of conventions. Like it's very backwards, so to speak. And every you can actually tell when the scene is starting, because the scene previously starts, because the scene before this, it's hard to explain. It's very hard to explain. Each scene is actually broken up by these black and white segments of him talking about this other guy called I can't remember his name, like Jacob someone, or Jacob or someone like that, Sammy Jenkins, and and it's like it tells of him how he's also got this short-term memory. I know it's very, very short-term memory loss, and it's interesting to learn about his character as well, and how the main character actually learns from this guy and starts keeping mementos of the previous day. Like he tattoos stuff on him and he writes letters for himself. So it's a very, very interesting movie. I enjoyed it. I think it's my favorite movie that I've seen all year. That's about it. I'll probably maybe make a video later saying goodbye to 2011. But until that's it for me for now. Make a video response or whatever, or type in the comments what your favorite movies of the year was. Until then, goodbye.